Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for all things innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so I have Aditya Nagarath on the line, and he is the founder and CEO over at Elephant Learning. Aditya, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, so excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about the Elephant Learning platform, and it's a great tool that's helping parents teach their children math, and helping kids succeed in math. So I love it. So let's just dive right in. Tell us a little bit more about Elephant Learning, please.
Sure. So on average, children in our system learn a year and a half of mathematics over the course of 10 weeks when they use our system around 30 minutes per week. And that's why we guarantee your student will learn at least a year of math if they use our system appropriately over the course of 3 months. And basically, the way the curriculum is delivered is that we've compiled all of the best early age education research that's out there. So actual science on how to teach children mathematics. And we've compiled it into a program along with these algorithms that quickly are able to determine what your child understands and doesn't understand, so that we could feed them an activity right at their level, which then teaches them the math concept that they need to learn next in order to get to the next level or to catch up to class or to accomplish whatever it is they want to accomplish.
Can you talk a little bit about your credentials in mathematics? And the reason I want to say that is because I don't have kids, but if I did, I want you or the thing that you designed teaching my kids math. Can you talk a little bit more about your credentials there?
Sure. So I graduated from the University of Denver with a PhD in math and computer science back in 2008. Got a bachelor's in mathematics and computer science as well. There's 2 separate bachelors, but one combined PhD degree.
Yeah, so like I said, I know you don't want to brag on this, but I want to brag on you. I'm like, you're the guy that I want teaching my kids math. So why do you think why have you found that the results have been so effective in this versus maybe some other things out there, just in general? How have you been able to accomplish so much with this?
Well, I'll tell you, we designed the thing. Our mission is to empower children with mathematics. So that's what we designed. So we went out into the world and we looked at the problem from a world perspective. And I said, well, what could I build that would fill the gap to make our education system right here in the United States effective? And this is what we came up with.
And so what are some of the things that you found that are just, that were lacking? Like, because you went out, you said, okay, there's a problem here. And and just to be clear, there's a lot of smart people out there that are trying to work on this problem, but you're getting results. And that's the main thing that matters is results. Why do you think it's so broken otherwise? And what can we learn from that?
Well, I mean, to say it's broken means that something's wrong. I don't think anything's wrong. I think the way human beings have chosen to teach mathematics, just is how did my parents do it, right? So the way we look at mathematics is probably ancient, right? I mean, from ancient times, this is what we do is we teach them to add, and then we teach them to subtract, and then we teach, right? Mm-hmm. And it makes sense, except for that, what we've discovered is that if you actually think of mathematics more of a language than a set of things or skills that you have to learn, then it becomes about the understanding. And the understanding is actually key here. So what we have actually found through the research that's already out there is that students are coming in underneath the understanding level, meaning that maybe they don't have a concrete foundation on the numbers. And so they're kind of behind from a language perspective. And then they tend to stay behind because no one's really kind of focused on catching that up. They're focused on if they can demonstrate to me some skills and we're passing them along. And many times students are turning to memorization to demonstrate those skills. So what we do is we feed the children these puzzles that when they solve, they are exhibiting the actual ideas. And to give you an idea of what this means, because I've found now in the past that if I just say that, some people get lost.
That was just so you know, that was going to be my follow-up question. I was going to say, all right, Aditya, so you know this stuff, but we're listening on the radio right now. What does that mean?
there's a question in our system, and sometimes we'll get a complaint about this, but like it puts, like, say so many items in a row, and then we put so many rows on the screen, and it's like 4 seconds that the student gets to look at it, and we have a guideline at the 5th row. So what it is a multiplication problem. The voice will say something like, I have 7 cards in each row. How many cards do I have? The curtain will open. You'll see the guideline at 5. You'll see maybe 1 or 2 rows more than 5. So it's open for 4 seconds. So even if it's 9 rows, you have 4 seconds to count to 4. That should be enough. And then the curtains close, and we say, okay, how many cards do we have? And in that moment, for that student to answer that question, not only do they have to realize that they use multiplication to solve this problem, right, which is the real kind of issue we're trying to solve, but they must also know their times table in order to do it. And if they can't answer the question correctly, we take them to more fundamental puzzles that will build them up to here. Like maybe there's no curtain at first, right, so that we can start to get them to realize, oh, but this is what multiplication is. And we also help the parent understand that this is where your student is. This is how we're going to teach it. And we give them advice on how they can take that language out into the real world, because actually all of these ideas exhibit all of the time. The research shows that 4-year-olds exhibit division in play when they're dividing up t equally at tea time. And it's basically, if we could label it at that time, then all of these ideas that, you know, to the student, we make it seem like, oh, well, that's 4th grade math. Oh, that's 5th grade math. It's not really out of their grasp.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, and that makes perfect sense. So it's literally you're gamifying math, so that or adding in that gamification piece. That's just not, and I may be oversimplifying it, but that's just not prevalent in our day-to-day, like when we're going through like learning math through memorization. And so now you're making it fun. You're giving them the right learning at the right time. And I mean, when you explain it like that, it just makes sense why a student will learn faster. It's just common sense at that point.
It is what it is. And then we focus only on the core concepts. So like in 1st grade math, basically they're adding for the entire year. And like at first they're learning to add, and then maybe they're doing it on a clock, and then maybe they're doing it with money. And the thing is that if I can teach your student to add, well, then all of that other stuff is easy. And so that's what we focus on, is that, like, okay, I got you adding on a line, I got you adding, and looking at it from different angles too. So like, like I have 5 things, give me 4 more things. How many do I have now? Versus like, give me, I have 5 things. Someone brings along some things, and now I have 9, right? And so like they're looking at it from all the different angles within our system, so that when they get into the classroom, whatever the curriculum is calling for, they're going to be able to jump over that hoop because they already understand what addition is.
Man, that's exciting. I love this. I love what you're doing. This is just cool stuff. So that being said, Aditya, if somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more about elephant learning, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with you and your team and your product?
Well, just go to elephantlearning.com. You'll find out everything that you'll ever want to know about us right there, or you can find us on Facebook. We got a lot of stuff going on there.
Fantastic. Well, Aditya, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great work that you're doing over at Elephant Learning. I'm thinking to myself, man, I would have probably did better at math when I was going through school if I would have had this. So for the parents out there that are thinking about different solutions for their kids, hey, you're definitely going to want to check this out. So go head on over to Elephant Learning. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Innovation, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. I'd love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Aditya, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.